Hello, good afternoon, happy Monday. Did you know that right this minute the globe is experiencing an eclipse? Did you know that? I didn't know that until my friend told me earlier. I was with a couple of friends, one of which is an absolute expert at film and video editing, and we were doing a little shoot and I can't wait to tell you about it. But while I was there, they said to me, Katie, you know that you can't go, I mean, this is the type of people I work with, right? They said, you know, you can't actually be outside between 2:30 and 6 today. I was like, why? They said, because there's an eclipse and it's bad luck. Apparently the eclipse isn't happening in the UK. Apparently it's happening elsewhere. But this eclipse apparently is amazing for manifesting. So if you're excited about calling in an amazing 2021, then now is the energy to be doing it. I've actually scheduled to spend all day tomorrow, a proper me day, all day tomorrow, reflecting on my year that's just been and then calling in my year to come. I'm wondering if I should start doing a little bit this evening, except that I'm on a coaching call tonight. But now's the energy apparently, but that is not what I'm here to talk about on today's Cuppa with Katie session. And as you're joining, please say hello. Hi Amber, I can see you're watching. Nice to have you. What do I want to talk about today? Perfectionism. Perfectionism is what I would like to talk to you about today. And yet again, life, the universe, is guiding this chat. This isn't pre-planned. I did actually sit down a while back and come up with some themes and topics that I would like to talk about month on month for my Cuppas with Katie. Not yet have I actually followed that plan. Not yet at all. It's a great plan and maybe one day I'll start following it, but what has been feeling really good for me is just to share and speak to what's coming through for me in the moment, and maybe that's how it will continue. But the theme, the topic today is perfectionism. And here's how that began for me today, why this is suddenly a theme. So I woke up this morning and my first thing I did today after my own stuff and walking the dog and so on, I checked in with, I have a group coaching program called Daring and Mighty Love, and there's a group of single women who are calling in their soulmates. So I checked in with the group to see what comments they'd made over yesterday and overnight last night. And one of the women, I'm just looking at it now, I'm going to read you this quote, posted a quote by Elizabeth Gilbert from her book, Big Love. And the quote that she's posted goes like this: perfectionism is just fear in fancy shoes and a mink coat. So in fancy shoes and a mink coat, pretending to be elegant when actually it's terrified. And I wonder if you can relate. And she shared that quote with me because she came across it on the back of really vulnerably, openly sharing with myself and the women in our group that, you know, one of her big fears around dating and calling in her guy is not being intelligent enough, not being funny enough, not being witty enough, not being pretty enough, sexy enough, right? Just not enough for guys. And I remember, I shared the story with her and I'll share it here with you now. I remember having those thoughts myself when I was single. And I remember I'd go to events where there's lots of really gorgeous, eligible dudes, and you know, I'd look around the room and I'd notice all the other single eligible women. And I'd be like, oh my God. I mean, look at her. She's so beautiful. And she is clearly really interesting, great conversationalist. And she's super sexy, got it going on, and she's so intelligent, and I can't compete, right? So this was sort of the thinking that was going through my head. I remember this particular occasion, this particular event that I was at. And it was really bringing me down. The more I thought, my God, she's, you know, these women are so much more beautiful than me. It was just a complete self-sabotaging way of thinking, and it brought my energy down. It meant that I wasn't able to show up as my, you know, my own gorgeous, sexy, intelligent self, you know, because we all are, right? And I had this massive aha. I had this huge epiphany. This is going to sound really simple and it's so obvious, but honestly at the time for me it was like, my epiphany was, Katie, there are always going to be more beautiful women than you in the world. Katie, there are always going to be more intelligent women than you in the world. Katie, there's always going to be way more funny, humorous, witty women in the world than you. I was like, oh my God, of course there are. And, you know, I could get super judgmental. I could be like, this is like a real ego conversation, but I am going to be more pretty, more intelligent, more funny than other women. And those women are going to be more than other women. I mean, you know, and so it goes on and on and on. It's exponential in all directions. And it's a waste of time thinking about that stuff. It's a waste of energy thinking about that stuff. Like, it just doesn't matter. Because the truth is, like, if you're single, you're calling in a guy. Thank you, Amber. If you're single, calling in a guy, your guy thinks that you are amazing. Your guy, for him, you are perfection. You're just the right amount of pretty. You're just the right amount of intelligent. You're just the right amount of clever and witty and funny and all that stuff, right? For him. And the bits that maybe you're not quite there, for him, he still loves you anyway. Because God forbid you be totally perfect, because that's like, it's just, well, it's not real, is it? Like, our beauty is actually in our imperfection. That's where our beauty is. Our vulnerability is so beautiful. Us not getting it quite right is so beautiful. Us showing up just as the truth of who we are is beyond perfection. The truth of who you are, a spiritual being, pure love and light, when you are tapped in and aligned with that energy, perfection. Right? Perfection. Your humanness, never going to be perfect. The more we compare, the more we judge, the more we bring ourselves down, and the further we are always going to be from calling in what we desire. So this is how my day started, was with this amazing woman sharing the Elizabeth Gilbert quote with me around perfectionism. And then I was filming today, so I've just come back from this shoot. It's very exciting, and I can't wait to show you what it is. It's a little thing, but it required quite some setup and quite some prep, and you're going to be seeing it across social media very soon. But what it required of me was actually some, I won't go into all the detail, but it actually, there's some close-up hand shots of me. So you actually don't see my face or my body in any of the shoot. It's on other subject matter, but for part of it you see my hand, and you see my hand writing. And this morning I woke up and went, oh shit, my hands, nails, I haven't done my nails. You know, I haven't had my nails done. I haven't been to a nail clinic since February because of the pandemic and so on. I've been doing my own nails. I've actually come to enjoy doing it. This morning I woke up and I had chipped nails, and they looked pretty awful. I was like, wow, I cannot go to this shoot with my hands looking like that. Hi Kellyanne, nice to see you. And so I quickly, before I went, I was like scrubbing the paint off, and it wasn't coming off, and I've done a fairly nasty job of it, and my cuticles are like well overdue some attention. And I whacked on some, clear nail varnish, and they look clean, and they look clean, right? They look, they look fine, yeah? They are not perfect. And I'm not being funny. I'm investing a decent amount into this shoot, and a decent amount of time into this shoot, and other people's energy and time going into it. And the main focus of the entire shoot is my hands. And at the last, and I'm not joking, I was putting the last bit of clear varnish on just as I was like running to the car to go and be there. So it was all a bit lastminute.com. They're far from perfect. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. In fact, when I turned up at this shoot, there was various things we hadn't thought of. And we figured it out. We bumbled through. It's going to look great. It's already looking amazing. And it all worked out. Somehow the way, the light and the angles and the everything, and it all looked absolutely beautiful. I learned from a coach quite some years ago when I was first launching my coaching business. She used to say to me, and to all of us. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. So when it comes to running a business or setting up something new, we can be a bunny in headlights, you know, frozen, not taking action out of fear of not being perfect enough, out of, you know, fear of just not getting it quite right. The perfectionism, like the Elizabeth Gilbert quote said, and I'll read it back again in a second, the perfectionism basically, well, let me just read the quote again. Elizabeth Gilbert says, perfectionism is just fear in fancy shoes and a mink coat, pretending to be elegant when actually it's terrified. So perfectionism is just trying to like keep up appearances, but under the surface we're really actually quite scared. Done is better than perfect has been the most powerful affirmation throughout my entire, the last 10 years of this coaching business. There's so many things that would never have got off the ground and become what they came to be had I needed it to be absolutely perfect in the first instance. These lives, no word of a lie, like they're unscripted, they're pretty unprepared. Most of the time I look at the clock and go, oh, I was going to do a live today. I wonder what I'll talk about. I feel into it, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And I throw my hair up and so on. I'm very aware that I wear the same clothes all the time. I'm very aware that my nails aren't always perfect. I'm very aware that, you know, my hair's not always right, or it needs colouring, or I'm very aware that I'm regularly getting comments from people after I do these videos, you know, friends and people who mean well, and I appreciate it. And my perfectionist nature doesn't really like it when people comment back and say, oh, you looked a bit tired on today's live, are you okay? Or you seemed a bit flat, are you all right? I'm like, oh, I thought it was all right. I think my energy's okay. Oh, I didn't realise I looked tired. You know, it's stuff like that. If I allowed myself to care, I would never show up. I would never be visible. If I had to have all the way I looked, the way I sounded, is my energy absolutely perfect? Is the lighting absolutely perfect? What's my backdrop doing? You know, if I tried to get every element of what it takes to do a live video or any kind of filming absolutely perfect, it would never happen. It would just never happen. Hey Lindy, hey Ilanette, good to see you. Right? It would never happen. And I'm coaching quite a few women right now who are launching businesses. It seems to be the year for calling an end to stuff that's not working and starting up new stuff. And a couple of women in particular I'm working with, and they're beginning new businesses, and it's really exciting. And, you know, I've noticed that on, you know, a bunch of the coaching calls, there's conversations like, okay, so I want to launch XYZ, but I really need to like do deep depth, like a dive deep interview with my ideal client first. I need to like really get to the nuts and bones, nitty gritty of her, so that I know exactly what to offer, and so I can get my price point exactly right, and I can get my branding exactly right, and my messaging just on point. And while I hear all that and I get it, and it's important to prepare and plan and all that good stuff, and an empowered woman is prepared, there's an element of, well, what do you have, what do you know right now? Because with this particular example that I'm bringing to mind, she needed to call in some money, and she needed to stop stalling. Her wheels are kind of spinning a bit, because she keeps thinking of things that she needs to get more right, more perfect, you know, do more research, get more clarity, get that like byline just perfect before launching something. But she needs to get some money in. But the truth is, she's actually scared of not getting it exactly perfect. But that fear, unless addressed, and unless I can help her, and we are, move her forward with the done is better than perfect slogan, it's never going to happen. It's never going to get off the ground. And the truth is, she is expert. She does know enough. She absolutely knows enough to start helping some people. It might not be the finished product yet, but that's a creation, that's a work in progress. Like what I'm doing with my business now is not at all what I had imagined 10 years ago, and there have been stages and phases, and there have been mistakes and hiccups and huge successes, learnings along the way. like done is better than perfect, has allowed me to serve people. If I was always trying to get it absolutely perfect and say exactly the right thing, and those of you who know me, like my business is dependent on what I say. You know, it's dependent on what I know and what's up in here and what I feel in here coming through in a way that makes sense, that you can feel. That's never going to be perfect. It's just never going to be perfect. And I can't, you know, yeah. Anyway, I think you get where I'm coming from. Hi, Lynette. Good to see you. So I guess my message today is inviting you to consider where in your own life are you expecting complete perfectionism? What in your life is stalling? Where in your life are you like spinning your wheels, not taking action, not moving in the direction that you desire because you're expecting everything to be perfect before you can? It's impossible. It will never be perfect. You will never be perfect. There is, you know, I look at my business, there's elements of my business. In fact, I was speaking with the guy that I was doing this filming with today, and we were choosing some music to go with, we're buying some music to go with these films that we're making. And I said, he said, do you want the music, like, we'll have the music for the intro, but do you want the music sort of quiet in the background while you're speaking? I'm like, well, yeah, I think that might, you know, that might be nice. I remember putting music behind my teachings on YouTube, you know, a few years ago, and I remember at the time thinking that sounds really good, and I watched them back just recently and I thought, oh, it's awful, the music's too loud, it's wrong. But you know, even when I thought it was perfect all those years ago, I look back on it and it's not perfect. So even if we think it's perfect, doesn't mean it is, and it's always going to evolve and change. You know, we are not perfect, and it's a complete waste of our time and energy to expect perfection. And truthfully, your humanness and your imperfection and you not getting it quite right is actually incredibly lovable. It's totally relatable. The relatability allows for connection, it allows for intimacy, it builds rapport. It's an important part of relationship building. So whether you're a single person looking for your soulmate, or whether you're having to get more visible in an existing business, or you're launching something new, or whatever it is, it's your imperfection that is so relatable and that creates such connection. And it's, you know, it's real. So this video, I will watch this back. It's not perfect. I'm pretty sure I lost my train of thought a couple of times while I've been speaking. I do that a lot. You know, I might come across like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm telling you right now, when I'm speaking to camera, I don't have an audience. I'm not getting any gauged reactions or anything. It's quite, you know, it's quite challenging to talk to. There's a little tiny green dot on my mobile phone there. And I'm looking at that because I know as I look at that, you feel like you're getting my eye contact. But from where I'm sitting here right now on my own in my office, that's quite challenging. And as I'm delivering to you, I'm aware of what's going on in my head. I might sound quite together, I might look quite together, but what's going on in my head is not together. It's hilarious. There's so much chat going on in here, and it's like, oh, I don't think you picked up the thread of that conversation particularly well, Katie. You totally lost it there. I'm pretty sure you said that wrong there. Slow down, speed up, talk louder, connect. It's all going on in here in the attempt to try and be perfect, and it's freaking exhausting. So I've learned to dial that out. I've learned to not listen to it too much, because if I did, I couldn't get on here and do this. I couldn't show up. And if I'm not showing up, I'm doing there's somebody here today watching this, getting something from this. There's at least one person today watching this thinking, you know what, I needed that reminder, thank you. And that reminder for that person will have a ripple effect. And if I didn't show up in my imperfection with whatever chat is going on in my head, getting it a little bit wrong, not being exactly perfect, that one person wouldn't have received what she needed to receive today. And who do I think I am to hold myself back and not share what's on my heart, what's in my mind, what's my experience? Who do I think I am to hold that back? Who do I think I am to even know what I could pull together and put out to share with you that would be perfect? Like, according to who is that perfect, right? Because even like I shared with the video thing with the music, you could watch it, I could think this is perfect, I could watch it back in a couple of years and think, oof, cringe. I was actually asked to speak at an event a couple of years ago about how I use video in my business, because I've used video in my business very successfully for a number of years. So I pulled together this presentation and did this presentation, and it went very well. And part of the presentation was actually showing video that I had done in my business like 8-9 years earlier. And it was cringe. I found it really hard to watch. I also showed video that I did, it was back when I was like 24, so we're going back some years. I did TV presenting classes when I was about 24, 25, just a few classes, like 3 or 4 months worth, because I thought it'd be fun, and I learned a lot. And I showed some of the footage from those classes, and it was cringe. But that experience and the early days of my business, those videos that I created, those experiences were like, done is better than perfect. We all have to start somewhere, right? And because I started there, because I put myself out there, it's built and built and built year on year on year, and I've created a brand and I've created a beautiful business, and it's helping people. But if I stayed stuck and paralyzed, hiding behind perfection, I'd be doing the world a disservice. And you, no matter what it is, that what area of your life that you know you're stalling in, or because of this fear of rejection or fear of judgment, whatever it is, you're not perfect enough, you too are doing the world a disservice. Or you're doing that guy that's looking for you too, you're doing him a disservice because you're not showing up for him. He's looking for you as well. Those clients, you're doing them a disservice because you're not showing up for them, and they're looking for you. They're desperate for you. They need you. You're special something, which is never going to be perfect. So that's the little message that came through today. I hope it lands with you. Kellyanne's saying it totally resonates. I'm really glad. I'm sending you so much love. Like I said, just before I finish off, I'm spending all day tomorrow reflecting on my year just gone and looking to what I want to call in 2021. I'm doing that tomorrow because on Wednesday I am hosting my 90-minute 2020 reflections workshop. It's a hands-on workshop. You'll finish the workshop feeling like you've actually done the work and achieved something. I'm not going to teach you something and give you another thing to do before Christmas. You turn up, we spend 90 minutes together, you will achieve a 2020 reflection. And that will be the groundwork, the prep work for my January workshop, 2021 Vision, where you're going to be really getting clear on your intentions and what you're going to be calling in and manifesting for 2021. So I'd love for you to join me. So I'm going to be taking myself through my own process tomorrow. I'll be able to share that with you on the workshop on Wednesday. It's at 12 noon UK time, 90 minutes live on Zoom. I will put the link below for you to register. It is free. It's for women only. Bring your friends. Anybody can attend as long as it's a woman. And yeah, join me for live 90 minutes on Wednesday. It'd be awesome. So yeah, like I said, link will be below. See you then. And yeah, sending you so much love. Goodbye.